Dom, thank you very much indeed. It's 20 to 9. Work at home if you can was the Prime Minister's message. Now he seems to be telling people to go back to work when it's safe to do so, a message he may well reinforce on Friday as he tries to convince the public it is time to get back to a more normal life. How will those who've been working from home react? Will empty offices in towns and cities all over the country ever fill up again? That's a question I've been discussing with people in very different jobs in different parts of the UK. Georgie Wooler is co-owner of TC Bristol, which sells office furniture. Mark Woolgar is operations director for a school uniform supplier in Manchester. David Luke Limited. Sophie Hinder-Wallbank works for a tech startup in London. And Marion McLaughlin is a secretary normally based in central London. So I asked her whether she felt ready to return.
Not at the moment. I'm still too nervous because my train journey is an hour and 15 minutes, and that's a train and a tube, and both of them are usually so packed that I wouldn't feel safe. Being asthmatic, and I've also had cancer treatment, and I'm over 60, so yeah, I do feel very vulnerable.
How about you, Sophie? Are you tempted to go back to the tech startup you work for, get back to seeing people, have some more fun rather than being on your own?
I guess from a social connection perspective, yes, because I actually started my job in lockdown. It was pretty much the same day, so I've not been into my office. So yes, from a social side, but definitely not. I agree with what Marion said, with the commute, I definitely haven't missed that in lockdown. Finding much more time for me and enjoying my local area. So no, I mean, if I had the choice, definitely it would be too soon to go back now.
Did I understand you right? You're in a new job and you've never been to your office?
No.
Isn't that a bizarre way to work?
It's been surprisingly easy, I think, because it's been a good kind of equaliser, I suppose, because we're spread across the world in my company, and it's been a really lovely way to get to know people in different offices because everyone is at their computer, rather than, I guess, in some places you might have some people in a meeting room, other people working remotely, so it's been great for that.
Mark, how about you? Harder for you, isn't it? You're operational director of a school uniform supplier. You've got to be in where the school uniforms are, haven't you?
Yeah, because we had to keep trading, we had to keep open because it was sort of heading towards, obviously, the summertime, which is our busy season. So we furloughed who we needed to, and who wasn't going to be able to be productive during that time. And then we kept a skeleton crew in the warehouse. So I personally have been quite fortunate to be able to go into work virtually every day, at least for some hours of the day. And I think that obviously helps manage any sort of fear. I think that helps when you're actually able to get out of the house, obviously, and if the workplace is safe and all the relevant risk assessments have been done, then the more you go out, come home, and you're okay, it kind of builds that confidence. And I've seen that with some of our staff that we've then brought back, and they're now blending working from home with needing to come in the office occasionally, and getting out and coming into work and seeing that it's safe and all the relevant precautions have been taken really helps, I think, to build that confidence that you can do that.
Is that your view, George? You've got 100 staff, I think, in your group selling office furniture. Do you think if you could get them in, they would actually start to feel better about it?
We did a poll last week, actually, on whether people wanted to come back into the office. And we found that I think 85% actually did want to be able to come into the office, but the majority sort of wanted to work from home for up to 3 days a week. So I think some people, there's a fear element. I think some people just have found it much more productive working from home and being able to sort of run their homes and home lives much more easily. Than having to get, sort of deal with the commute and staying at work late if they need to. And yeah, they found it much easier.
I think the pandemic hasn't so much changed things as jumped us all into the future 5 to 10 years. And I think the trajectory that we were on in terms of home working as we followed that curve, we've just jumped ahead on the curve. And I think the way we're going with flexible working, people spending a day or two at home, I think is going to stay, and it's going to be that blended approach that suits the company and the individual, depending on the child's circumstances or their personal circumstances. And therefore, we're not likely to see it as busy in the city centres or the town centres.
I think the mistrust around home working has gone during this period. I think previously, if someone said they were working from home for the day, I think there'd be a bit of a, sort of everyone else would be thinking, it's sort of a unofficial holiday almost. I think people will be much happier for their teams to work from home because they've shown that they can make it work.
Sophie, if your boss said, this has worked perfectly well, I'm going to close the office. We don't need an office. You're never going to meet your own colleagues. Would you care?
I would care because it's still a huge part. I work in internal communication. So, working in terms of like employee engagement, it's a massive part of it. And as much as we try and recreate these things virtually, like you can't beat in-person like interaction. I think it's a really exciting time as well. If we kind of park the pandemic side of things, but certainly in terms of work, it's totally transformed everything.
And what about you, Marion? Are you missing the office? You're nervous about returning, but do you miss your colleagues?
Oh, I really miss my colleagues. I've worked for my firm now for 16 years, so I know quite a lot of people from other departments as well. And I really miss, little chats in the corridor or, just the banter, the office environment and, going out for lunch with my friends. I miss all of that. I really do. So I agree with Sophie. I don't think we'll ever get back to normal as we know it. But I mean, it'd be great if I could go to the office when I feel safe, say once or twice a week and then work from home the rest of it.
Marion McLaughlin, Sophie Hinder-Wallbank, Mark Woolgar and Georgie Wooler, thank you very much for joining us.